Welcome. I've had several people wanting to learn how to edit videos, and so I'm putting together this series on how to learn video editing, and I'm going to try to teach it in the simplest way possible for you to learn. First episode is we're only going to start on the computer. We're going to start with a journal. Now, this is probably the foundation and probably one of the biggest things to learn in general, because you can skip this step, but you're just going to lose so much time. You're not going to end up with better products. You're not going to end up, it takes all the guesswork out of it whenever you're actually in post-production editing a video, or while you're actually videoing, you can go back and look and you can see what you actually need to get videos of for the edit. So let's start with the journal. Why do you need it? What does it do for you? And how can it help? So the first thing you want to do, like I even did this for this video. I sat down, title. I sat down, put down the title, and then I wrote down, what is the main point of this video? Okay, and the main point of this video is you want to write down and visualize the video before you go into videoing it. What do you want the person to feel whenever they watch the video? You know, maybe you want to teach them something. Maybe you want to portray an emotion, something like that. Okay, you want to sit down and write, what's the main point of this video? What does pre-production do for you? Stay more on topic, so I'm not just rambling from the head, or I am. In this video, I'm just rambling from the head, but I have a main point to go back to and try to feed my ideas off of that. That would keep you a lot more on topic, so I don't talk about, in this video, I'm not gonna talk about cameras or, actually videoing. I'm going to talk about that. I want you to go in and write down your ideas on a journal, because that's pre-production. Okay, it'll also help you be more precise. It will save you tons and tons of time in post-production, because you already know the edit in your head and you've already written it down, instead of going in like, okay, how am I going to make this video work? There's a spec ad I'm working on, and I'll just give you an example of what I've written down. I'll give you an example it will work off of whenever you want to go back and create your own videos. Okay, here's the main idea, okay? I want to make a spec ad for a brand that I really like, and then I had their products. Okay? I had a couple different options, okay? Daniel Defense, Pelican, Yeti, Sitka, EOTech, okay? Those are top, coolest brands to work with, and, eventually I want to work with brands like that, okay? So I wrote down Daniel Defense, and I was like, what is the main point I want to do for this ad? The spec ad. The main idea of the ad is going to be, what's your plan if something happens, okay? So here's what you need to do. You need to put down the main point, and then you want to create the concept of the ad, okay? So write down, each scene. So this one, I want it to start off like everything is great and happy. So have some friends, eating dinner, okay? Everything's fine, everything's great, nothing's wrong, okay? And then in the middle of the shot, have, the camera shake, like there's a bomb going off, the power goes out, no service. And then what are you going to do? Okay. What's your plan whenever this happens? What are you going to do? You're going to protect your friends? What's your plan and how are you going to do that? That's kind of a very simple rundown of that spec ad example. And then I have like all of the scenes listed in there of, what some example shots I want to get for each clip and scene, stuff like that. So it'll save me a ton of time, and I'll know more of what I want whenever I get into videoing it and in post-production. Get a journal, write down the main point of the video you want to edit, and then write down the scenes and the ideas and the shots that you want for the video. And then also, in this day and age, you have to decide before, do you want this in vertical format, or you want this as horizontal format? Where's it going to go? Is it going to go to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Some prefer vertical over horizontal, and nowadays you have to decide if you want it in vertical or horizontal, which you can still make it work. That is the super basic breakdown and ideas of, what you need to learn when going in. If you're wanting to learn video editing, to write it down. Don't just jump into learning it on the computer, which that helps a lot, and we will cover more of that in the next episode. But first thing is write down your idea. What's the main point? What do you want your video, and what clips do you want in your video, so you will be more on topic, more precise, and so on. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, subscribe, and then come back and watch the next video on actual video editing, and we'll just be breaking down like super simple things. So if you currently are a video editor, you might not want to watch it. But if you're just now getting into it, or have never done it and want to learn more about it, this is the perfect series for you. Thank you. Hope you all have a good one. Peace.